Hey, what is up, YouTube? Andrew Rooney here. We are back with another PayPal request.
You son of a bitch.
Now, this one has come through from my buddy Brody Bradley. Could you please do Heaven and Hell by Black Sabbath? This is the Ronnie James Dio vocal era, and from his first album with them named Heaven and Hell. The drummer is Vinny Appice, and rocks through this whole track. Enjoy. Now, the Appice thing, I believe, because the two brothers, right? The Appice brothers. Now, stick with me. This sounds a bit wild, but I believe they actually pronounce their surnames differently. Is that right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know a heck of a lot about this drummer or Ronnie James Dio, so hit me in the comments with your hatred and vitriol. With that said, let's check it out. Oh, and I should say this song is available on Drumeo, so please do go along. I do have a link for 30 days free to do the Drumeo trial, so you can just follow my link and you can get access to all these incredible resources, rolling transcriptions for your favorite songs. Unbelievable. With that said, let's hit it. Wow, big tempo fluctuations there. Really slowing down on this part. That's interesting. Wow, I have to say, this is super interesting for me. Hearing the band, it's not the Awesome Foursome, it's a different lineup. Now, when was this from? Okay, I just did have a look. It is the other two members, Geezer Butler and Tony Iommi, with the addition of Ronnie James Dio and Vinny. Hey, this is same personnel, Bill Ward on Wikipedia. Let me know if he appeared, if Vinny appeared on this one song, or what's going on here. Anyway, let's keep it going. Big tempo fluctuations. It sounds like a diss. It's just an observation. It's just interesting. It sounds almost like we're punching in or something, or we're splicing together different takes, perhaps. It's interesting. I need to read up a little bit more about the production on this album. Really, really big contrast in vocal styles here. I gotta admit, it doesn't actually. I'm not familiar with Black Sabbath overly, as I've been really open with on the channel. It doesn't actually feel like Black Sabbath to me yet. When it's not Aussie singing, this is not a diss. I'm not saying the singing sounds bad. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just not used to it. I'm sure this would really grow on me. The vocal style here, I actually do really like. I quite like this. It sounds very 80s hard rock. like really, really good singing, really good singing. You can tell this guy's got pipes and he's a fantastic singer. It just doesn't feel like Sabbath to me without Ozzy. Absolutely fascinating. All the stuff is incredibly interesting for me at the moment as I learn more and more about Black Sabbath. And please don't take that as a diss on Ronnie James Dio. I'm not saying it's not Black Sabbath because Ozzy's not singing. I'm just saying for me, I've only heard Ozzy so far, so this is so different. It feels like a different band at the moment. Tom sound really, really different to Bill Ward. Someone needs to clarify, is this Bill Ward playing or not? The Tom sound very, very different to what I'm used to. Had a more modern doom Tom sound, whereas Bill Ward always had a pretty open, jazzy kind of tuning with his toms. Great Bill. Iommi, man. Riff master. It's great singing. This sounds really different to Bill Ward also, the style. There's no sort of comping here, it's laying down a groove. Again, not saying one approach is better than the other, it's different. It sounds like a different approach to me to Bill Ward. There's going to be an epic comment thread on this video because I don't know who's playing the drums. Brody Bradley saying it's Vinny Appice. Wikipedia saying it's Bill Ward. Train beat. There we go. This is killer, this part. Okay, this sounds Bill Ward to me. those 3 bass drums happening like that. Talk a lot about Steven Adler on this channel. I'm a big fan. And this reminds me of the end part of Paradise City. Playing 3 bass drums in a row like this, not as easy as it sounds. Especially on single kick. Shimmering cymbals. Oh. Beautiful. Panning. Tony Iommi, he knows how to pull at the heartstrings. Brody Bradley, thank you so much for the request. It's the first Sabbath request I've had that it hasn't had Ozzy on vocals, so really, really interesting. And you mentioned different drummer. I've brought up the Heaven and Hell album. All right, there's a lot of information here. You know what? I may as well just share it with you guys. Heaven and Hell is the 9th studio album by English heavy metal band Black Sabbath, released on 18th of April 1980. It is the first Black Sabbath album to feature vocalist Ronnie James Dio, who replaced original vocalist Ozzy Osbourne in '79. Produced by Martin Birch, the album was a commercial success, particularly in the United States. It reached number 28. Carry on. Okay, overview. The initial sessions for what became Heaven and Hell began with Ozzy Osbourne following the conclusion of Black Sabbath's Never Say Die tour. The band convened in Los Angeles for 11 months to record a new album. 11 months. A process described by guitarist Tony Iommi as highly frustrating, never-ending process. Osbourne has stated that he became fed up with the experimentation on the preceding albums Technical Ecstasy and Never Say Die, preferring the band's earlier heavy sound. I can see where he's coming from. I mean, I wasn't there, but I can see where he's coming from. In his memoir, Iommi revealed that he still possesses a recording featuring Ozzy singing an early version of what would become Children of the Sea, with different lyrics and a totally different vocal melody. Ronnie James Dio was introduced to Iommi in 1979 by Sharon Arden, who would later marry Osbourne. Initially, Dio and Iommi discussed forming a new band rather than a continuation of Black Sabbath. The pair met again by chance at the Rainbow on Sunset in Los Angeles later that year. Both men were in similar situations. Dio was seeking a new project and Iommi required a vocalist. There you go. It must have been fate, Dio recalled, because we connected so instantly. The pair kept in touch via telephone until Dio arrived at Iommi's Los Angeles house for a relaxed, getting to know you jam session. On that first day, the duo finished Children of the Sea, a song Iommi had abandoned prior to Osbourne's firing. Sabbath was a band that was floundering, Dio observed, and with my inclusion in it, we pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps, cared a lot about each other, and knew what we could do again, especially under the banner of a band that had been so successful. Sabbath's lineup was in a state of chaos as the band prepared to enter the studio to record what would become Heaven and Hell. Not only had the band replaced its longtime vocalist, but drummer Bill Ward was battling personal issues that would see him also leave the band within months. Demo recordings for the album included songs like Lady Evil Blues and Slapback, Lord She's Handsome, and an early version of the title track featured Jeff Nichols on bass, as longtime bassist Geezer Butler was going through divorce and his future with the band was in question. All right, I'm going to skip forward a little bit here to Bill Ward. Okay, personal issues aside, drummer Bill Ward was not completely happy with the direction Black Sabbath was moving in creatively. It's interesting how he and Ozzy both not happy, and it's like Tony Iommi's really driving the bus by this point. Heaven and Hell, for me, wasn't a turning point, he recalled. Heaven and Hell was the beginning of a new band of which I had no idea what band I was in. It was almost like Ron was capable of coming up with lyrics that seemed to fit his idea of how Black Sabbath ought to be, and I sensed a kind of unrealness about the lyrics. My favorite song on Heaven and Hell was a blues song that we did, Lonely is the Word, and that seemed to be real. But things like Lady Evil, they seemed almost like bandwagon type lyrics. Lonely is the Word. I definitely liked playing that song, and Children of the Sea. I did like to play that too. I thought Ronnie was a very good singer. Yeah, he sounds great. Okay, I'm going to skip forward to another part here. Black Sabbath had a long history of playing pranks on drummer Ward, Spinal Tap, and this continued during the recording of Heaven and Hell. During a slow day in the studio, Iommi doused Ward with a solution used by studio technicians to clean the tape heads, and he then set light to the solution, which was much more flammable than he anticipated. Ward suffered third-degree burns as a result and still has scars on his legs from the incident. That's shocking. Ward has stated that due to his alcoholism, he has no memory at all of the period in which the album was recorded. Damn. His behavior became erratic on the Heaven and Hell tour. Ward began dictating long and rambling press releases to the band's public relations representatives after each show, instructing them to get that out on the news wires tonight. Ward's personal issues, which included the deaths of both his parents, would soon force him to leave the band. Dio recalled answering the telephone in his hotel room one morning mid-tour to hear Ward say, "I'm off then, Ron," to which Dio replied, "That's nice, Bill. Where are you going?" "No, I'm off, mate. I'm at the airport now," indicating that he was incapable of completing the tour. American drummer Vinny Appice was quickly brought in to replace him. The Heaven and Hell album represents the only Sabbath material recorded during the Dio era that does not feature Appice on drums. So there you go. Absolutely fascinating. I mentioned throughout how the drumming, the timing was really wavering for me. It didn't actually sound like Bill Ward, so it sounds like someone's struggling, to be honest, on the drums. This whole story is actually quite similar to the Steven Adler Guns N' Roses situation, isn't it? Where, you know, that they've been through a lot by this point. I think they said they recorded this in 1979. Band's been through a lot. A lot of substances have been taken. A lot of water's going under the bridge as well. And don't underestimate how big an impact personalities can have in a band and how destructive certain substances can be in a band. Yeah, the drumming here, I've got to admit, it's not the Bill Ward I know. This, for me, at the moment, is just an absolutely fascinating bookmark in the Black Sabbath, the limited Black Sabbath knowledge that I have, and for that I'm eternally grateful. Brody, Bradley, thank you so much for supporting the channel with your PayPal contribution and this absolutely fascinating pick. I've just got so many questions after hearing this, and I guess the Wikipedia entry answered a lot of them, but you know, as Abraham Lincoln once said, don't believe everything you read on the internet. If you would like to support this channel further, I do have a Patreon. It's just $5 a month and you get access to all the blocked videos. If you have a direct reaction request that you definitely want to get done on the channel, that is via the PayPal link. Please do be sure to hit that subscribe button, like button, leave a comment with what you thought of this video and what you would like me to check out in the future. And remember, you as a subscriber of my channel get access to a full free 30-day trial over at Drumeo. You can access a whole bunch of Black Sabbath songs just like I'm watching here, and you get to learn from the world's best drummers. Go get it. With that said, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Ciao.